The new Avengers trailer dropped last night while I was sleeping, so hence why I'm one of the last YouTubers to bring it to you. But hey, better late than never. Of course, it's the third trailer, and I'm of course going to give you my top 10 favourite things which I've noticed from the trailer, plus some other things that you have to look twice for. So here we go. Starting with number 10. Banner is of course in love. They've hooked up Black Widow and the Hulk, of course. To be honest, it's probably one of the biggest shocks that we've done. I would have thought that maybe she would have been more suited to Captain America, but he's got his heart so focused on his job and just helping out people that of course they've swung it that way. Of course, this is probably the best thing to do because it's just the biggest shock. I had no way of seeing that coming. But of course, Banner's love life in the past has not gone well. He has to just keep his loved ones far away from him because he's always scared of hurting him. But nowadays, now that he's got a lock and a control on the Hulk, you never know what could happen. So where's that? And number 9. The Avengers Tower is of course at number 9. I've said number 9 twice, but hell, it'll be alright. Of course, this is of course the new tower's first time we've ever seen it. In Winter Soldier, you saw it as it was targeted Tony Stark. Of course, you saw sort of like a blueprints analysis of it well in the end of the first Avengers movie. And this has gone for basically sort of like a retro look. It's very plain, nothing too outstanding. I guess Tony Stark is not being so big-headed the way he always is, but basically put his name on it. Of course, it's said that all the characters are living in this, so Cap's in there 4, not too sure, he'd probably be living on his home planet, makes sense, obviously. But that was of course number 9, and one of the amazing things I've noticed in this trailer. So yeah, not too much from this, but of course that's why it's so low on the list. Anyway, moving on to number 8. Loki's scepter. As you can see in the background, we of course can see Tony Stark here. This part of the trailer is of course confessing to Banner, because you know they're both such good friends, such geniuses, that of course he created this Ultron to put basically, he says a robot around the world, something along the lines, I can't remember exactly, but basically he wants something that of course can fight the battles that they can't win, which of course is what he designed. As you can see Loki's scepter in the background, which is the main part of this one, number 8. I of course think he uses that after they storm the Hydra base at the start of the film, which of course you see Captain America breaking down the door and of course Iron Man flying over. Of course I think they storm that base because of course Hydra has that weapon, and of course after they all walk out of the room, for example, it could be just Iron Man just standing there and he just sees it, and of course temptation takes him and he takes it back home, which of course is messing in alien weaponry, creates Ultron, and that of course leads to Thor picking him up by the neck and strangling him because he's saying that you just don't know what you're messing in. So of course that's what I think leads to that. Of course now on to number 7. Number 7 of course, nothing too big, but something I had to put in the place. Just when Quicksilver just completely uppercuts Captain America at his speed, just goes BAM! Takes him out, right hooks him. And that's literally all I can say about that one for number 7. It's just that uppercut. I had to make the list. It just did. So of course Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Then of course with Ultron at this part of the film. Of course, as you know, they're going to come over to the Avengers side and verse him. But at this part, I just had to include that uppercut. I was just so amazed by it. Just a slow motion, BAM! And knocks him off his feet. I don't know how Cap is going to completely stop this guy. It's going to be too quick for him to even punch him, grab him, nothing. He's of course going to get one lucky punch Cap and probably hit him somewhere in the ribs. And of course that is just going to wind him. And he's probably going to get about 30 punches on Cap. Cap's going to get that one punch, but because of his strength, that one punch is going to be enough. Which moves on to number 6. At this part here we see of course Scarlet Witch. Of course she's doing this red thing with her powers. I don't know too much about her powers, and to be honest I don't think many people do. There are just so many, they're so hard to explain. But this part, it seems to be injecting this red mysterious force into Scarlet Witch. I'm thinking it's brainwashing, because after she opens her eyes after this, I couldn't exactly get the footage perfectly, but her eyes open, I could swear you see a flicker of red. But yes, she must definitely be brainwashing. Of course that's when she's working for Ultron, and Ultron says we're going to tear them apart from the inside. And by the inside, we of course mean just making them fight each other. Of course, I can't be sure if she, of course, brainwashes Black Widow. But another thing is for sure that we do see a hint of red in the Hulk's eyes. I couldn't actually find the picture right here. I had it all set up, all done, everything that I could possibly use. I had it all set up in one big file. And the one thing I missed was his red eyes. I could have swore I had it, but I didn't, I'm afraid. But the one thing we do know, and one thing you have definitely seen, is a bit of hinting red in his eyes, which I think basically she comes around the corner to Banner, as he's not in Hulk form, still, you know, very small. and she must just do that little bit of redness to him, brainwashes him, makes him basically lose his cool. And of course that's why he brings out the Hulkbuster armor to calm him down and basically stop him so no one gets hurt, which basically putting them against each other. Which now brings us on to number 5. Here you see here from left to right, if you look very carefully, you see Captain America just behind Thor. Then of course there's Thor, there's Iron Man, and you look on the right hand side, you see Ultron there, looking about 7 foot, I'm saying. Over 7 foot. And of course behind him you have Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and of course this is where they do the first fight. This scene here, I think they're inside one of the boats. From as you see scattered across the land, can't be too sure about that, but that's mainly what I think that fight's happening. You see one bit where you blast Iron Man into this steel door, and it looks to be one of the boat doors, as of course you turn the wheel and completely seal lock it. And now if you look at this image here, it's very, very blurry, but it's hard to get it as Ultron of course darts across towards Iron Man for Captain America. But as you can clearly see here, he's got red eyes, and of course you do know that Ultron does have red eyes when you look at it. But however, when we move it forward a scene, and you notice that he's pushing Captain America over the banister, holding him by his neck, looks like he's just going to snap it, which, to be honest, I'm not surprised how he couldn't. If you got Captain by the throat, one little squeeze and that guy's dead. This, of course, is the clip. Of course, he grabs him by his neck there, throws him over. But if you look at him there, it looks like it's a downgraded model. Looks like it's one thing you can notice for sure is that he's got blue eyes. So I don't know if that's his second form. I think in the first form, obviously, when he storms into the tower, just limping, barely walking. Second form is about that one with the blue eyes, and you can see there's still like joints and stuff showing. And of course, the third one is obviously the one that we've seen a lot of. But in this, I think that's either his second form out of 3, or basically his whole army of himself, basically. Not too sure about that though. That's mainly what I think. Of course, moving on to number 4. There is Vision. We've actually got Vision in the film, which completely utter shock. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I know a lot more about the other characters, not mainly about him. I know that he's had several different backgrounds. We've had him created by Ant-Man, of course. We've had him created by Ultron. In this, it might be created by Tony Stark. We never know. In this, it could be created by Ultron. Basically, he is another AI, self-thinking computer. But he's completely the opposite of Ultron. He don't believe in all this dominance that humans need to be basically vanished and all that. Just completely need to be extinct. Now he believes in saving people. So of course he's the complete opposite of Ultron. So I think he might step up in the film and be the only one that could really take him down. So that's one thing I think. I do think also in the future he's going to have a bigger role to come. Definitely. Moving on now to number 3. This bit here was just absolutely one of my favourite parts of the trailer, and they put it completely from the start. There you can see, of course, it's something simple. He's just putting out basically a cable from the back of his head. That could be him charging, but that basically right there is showing that, you know, he has had enough. He's not sitting back. He's not some puppet on a string. He's basically cutting the strings and he's moving by his own regards. No one is controlling him now. But that be there. As soon as I saw him snap out of that, I just know for a fact that means business. Of course, I think that's probably a charging cable or something, giving him a bit of energy. But of course, now they snaps off. He shows that he's free. He shows there's no strings. But wow, that bit there just had me. Also, another thing I'd like to point out as well, as we come further on into the video, I don't know where he is, where he's doing this. There's a bit of lighting there. It looks to be at the back of some kind of truck, which you do see further on in the trailer, where he's fighting Captain America on the top. So I'm thinking that this part of the film is just sitting in the back of a truck charging and he's moving across the city or something like that. I don't think he needs to charge. Never known that about the character. But I'm guessing just giving himself extra energy, and I'm guessing Captain America lands on top of the truck and he's thinking, right then, I'm going to deal with him. So of course rips the cable out, flips out the back and climbs on top. That's of course just what I'm guessing, can't be too sure. But that bit where he just said like, oh, basically had enough, bang, pulls the cable out. Absolute brilliant. Absolute brilliant. Now let's lead us on to number 2. Number 2 for me has to be the Hulkbuster versus the Hulk himself, Iron Man in the massive costume. Got a clip of it there, well picture. But that part, oh, cannot wait to see that fight in the film. That fight is going to be just absolute brilliance. Absolute brilliance. As I'm guessing from it, Hulk is brainwashed from Scarlet Witch. So of course, he goes to attack just a normal city, nothing too big. Of course, Iron Man shows him as Hulkbuster and basically tries to control him, tries to get everybody out there. At that point in the film, I'm guessing basically Scarlet Witch brainwashes him into a city, but I'm thinking in that city he probably kills some of her friends, maybe even her mother. Something a character that can basically not too big, a character that can die, just to give a couple of motives to the other characters. But I'm thinking basically her and her brother Quicksilver, their mother dies. So of course that's the scene where you see her on her knees screaming in the air in the other trailer. That's got to think to that. Of course that would give her the push to basically join the Avengers, go against Ultron, because what he just wants is just too much for them, and that's not what I'm looking for at all. That's mainly what I'm thinking of that. I'm guessing this fight is going to be about halfway through the movie. Of course, the movie start off with, of course, they storm the Hydra base. Tony Stark, of course, finds Loki's staff, gets his staff, creates Ultron. Ultron, of course, unleashes free, builds himself up, finds the twins, recruits them. The only reason they would recruit is because where the Avengers had tried to help at the start of the film, you know, we see Captain America holding onto that car bonnet, but the car falls off, loads of people die, and basically there isn't enough of them to save the world, hence why Tony Stark creates Ultron himself. And of course, there you can all see him screaming. You can see Quicksilver, and you can see Scarlet Witch screaming in the crowd in one of the trailers. They're just screaming into the crowd, so you can straight away, you can just tell they just hate the Avengers. So that's of course why they join Ultron. She of course will brainwash the Hulk into them fighting. I don't know how their fight's going to end. Obviously them both still going to be alive, but what is going to happen? Is he going to calm him down? Is the Hulk Buster going to completely get trashed, and then the Hulk's going to stop himself? Would Black Widow jump out into the street and try and calm him down? Because the only thing that can kill the Hulk is love. Is love. So again, guessing she could be a way to calm him down. And of course, that'll be around about the middle of the film. Towards the end of the film, obviously, the twins join up with the Avengers, and they're just, of course, try and take down Ultron. But the main question is who would die in it? Because, of course, Joss Whedon said he's not afraid to kill off an Avenger. He might kill off someone small like Hawkeye. I don't think he will. But I've noticed that in the next part, I've noticed one of the Avengers isn't there, and that of course brings me on to number 1. Here we have number 1 here at the morning in this kind of building. Not too sure what it is, but I know that just behind Thor there, just over his right arm, round about where his elbow is, see some kind of device there, that's in the middle. This room also looks a bit like where Ultron's sitting on a throne at the start, which by the way, with that cloak on his head and just showing his hand, that just screamed Chancellor Palpatine, where, you know, the Emperor. Something about it, just as soon as I saw him sitting there with that cloak, I was like, it's Darth Sidious. Let's hope he's as evil as he is. Of course he can do the electricity, so out of his hands, so why not? Main thing is that I think these are defending something there, that's got to have some importance, why they're bringing the enemies to them. Of course, this part we see Hulk there, not Hulk, we see Thor screaming, oh, is that all you have? And as you know from Lord of the Rings, when you say that to Lord Sauron, you are not going to survive. Which of course is why Captain's like, great. And now of course we see Ultron there flying. You should just about see him in the middle of your screen, just a bit to the right. You see him there just hovering. The animation isn't looking too good in him there, to be honest. It looks a lot better on the other ones. He looks to be standing a bit off from it. And of course he brings in his army, and they all come running in, which is going to be one of the near the end points of the movie. But of course this brings me on to the next bit. They're more of course fighting around that centre object, which I think they're trying to hide. But if you look at this part right here, if you look from the top going around clockwise, and of course we're going to count the characters, you can see at the very top there you got Hulk, you come around, you got Captain America, you got Scarlet Witch doing some kind of red power. Still don't know much about her power, can't get my head around it. Keep following the clock around, you see Thor, keep going Iron Man, you see Hawkeye. So people saying he's going to die halfway through the movie and give them kind of a motive to work together again, as I was arguing. No, he's still alive there. There's Hawkeye, go around to Black Widow, and then of course that leads you back around to Hulk. But where is Quicksilver? I cannot see him in this part. I'm not too sure if he's the one that dies and that causes Scarlet Witch to drop onto her knees and scream. You know, maybe the Hulk kills him, I'm not too sure. And then she realises, oh, it's all her fault because she, of course, brainwashed the Hulk and the Hulk killed her brother. And then she's like, the only reason I did this is because of Ultron. Even though she, of course, hates herself for what she's done, she wants to get revenge at Ultron, so, of course, that's why she joins the Avengers. It's just one of the possible ideas that's going through my head, but the one thing I can't figure out is where is Quicksilver? I'm guessing he's just dashing in and out through the columns, like, you know, up, down, right, left. But one thing I cannot see is just not here in this shot. I don't know where he is. which don't know if it could be a spoiler or what. Of course, any of this could be, could not be. That brings me on to the next point. There, of course, is my top 10. That was, of course, number 1. But of course, I also noticed another little things in the trailer 3, which is something I want to point out as well. So I'll move on to that. Should be another minute. Another cool thing is Ultron captures, of course, them fighting on top of the truck, which I was on about before. This is a truck which I think he gets out and climbs on top to stop Captain. Because he's like, you know, I'm not going to sit back and you basically charge, if that's what it be. I'm going to go up there and sort out myself. He, of course, chucks the shield, and he actually stabs into him, as you can see there, just the left side of his chest. I'm not too sure if he's not made out of vibranium yet, because, of course, Cap shield is, and you know that is the strongest thing in the Marvel Universe. Basically what Wolverine's claws are made out of, which is why they could use the X-Men right now, but they don't have the rights. Yeah. So, of course, he, of course, grabs his shield, chucks it on the floor, which, of course, brings me to the next bit. That wasn't my thing, the next bit right here. Next scene here, if you look in the back of the truck there, just to the middle, above the license plate, you can see like a figure, looks like another, looks a bit like Iron Man, some kind of other robot, of course, on top of the truck. You can see an Ultron, you can see Cap, you can see the top of his head there. Of course, Black Widow's coming up on the bike behind to capture the shield. You can see the shield hit the floor there. But there seems to be something in the back of the truck. I can't figure out what it is. Maybe it's Vision, maybe it's Iron Man. Maybe it's like an outer shell that like Ultron sits into, sort of like the chairs in the Matrix, how like you sit back into them and of course he plugs you in through the back of your head, which is the best metaphor or other film series I could think of right now. Probably not going to be the best, yeah, but yeah. What is in the back of that truck? I'm thinking it's Iron Man, I'm not too sure. Vision, never too sure. Of course, this isn't the first time I see Ultron in the film because he's in full form, obviously. He, of course, breaks into the flat. But with him ripping that thing out the back of his head, is, of course, what they're showing in the trailer to basically say that Ultron he's had enough. He's going to take care of things himself. This part here is something that I actually never noticed the first time around. I actually noticed Captain America hanging on the roof of the car. I'm guessing someone's in that car and he's on the roof and he's trying to get it, or Scarlet Witch uses the powers to flip the car, I don't know. But first time I saw it, I just saw the shield, I didn't actually know his cap on there. So if that's something you missed out, there's something. I missed a lot, but I'm guessing I'm probably one of the only 5 million people that's seen the trailer now to have missed out. That's another thing to spot. And to be honest, there's everything on my list that I can completely think of, but the main thing is Ultron is going to be an absolute badass. Vision, where's he going to play into it? Nobody knows. And of course, also Loki's in the film. Loki's in the film as well, which makes me think now off the top of my head. Iron Man goes to him, asking him how his scepter works, uses the technology, creates Ultron. If Loki's like manipulating him, if Loki's basically telling Iron Man how to create Ultron, and basically it's Loki that created it, that would just be absolutely nuts. Couldn't think Loki could get more badass. He's actually doing someone to create a robot to do his fights for him now. Wow, but yeah, tell me what you think of this trailer. Please comment below and tell me if there's anything I've missed. I tried to look through this scene by scene, second by second, but the main thing I could find out is what is in the back of that truck. It looks like Vision, I'm not sure. If it is Vision, I think that part's a bit early in the movie. I'm saying that's about 2/3 into the movie where he's fighting on top of that truck, or coming towards the end. But wow, what a movie this is going to be. Please like, subscribe, and going to try and bring a lot more videos like this, because it's actually been quite fun doing this today. And I might have been one of the last YouTubers to get it out today, but at least my video's out there. It's completely out there, so please like, subscribe, and hope you enjoyed.